Might have seen in the title today is my last stream before oop, actually going on vacation. So I'm right on time. I'm like as if I was on schedule. I'm doing it proper today. Bacon, hello. Happy Wednesday. Hope you're doing good. I can't believe the game would do such a thing that it did yesterday. That there wasn't a conclusive answer to who was the killer, and we'll never know. And I hope that never happens again. It's quite rude. All I managed to get from our neighbor were a few objects Theodore had stored that are supposedly connected to my family. Miss Gilden left them on a bench near the entrance to her manor. Preparing for your own vacation. Nice. I'm going somewhere a bit warmer than than Finland, but I'm still keeping it a surprise. How about you? Miss Gilden left them on a bench near the entrance to her manor. What? Miss Gilden. Was it the... Right, so it should be... Oh, it didn't save me my outfit. Also, I just noticed that there was like new DLC on Steam, but I guess it's not on PlayStation yet. Okay. Because there was some really cool... Well, I really liked one of them, but there was like new outfits. And one of them was like this super sick, like long coat, which looked epic. You're going to colder! Denmark! Oh, hell yeah, that's so cool! I hope you'll enjoy it there. I've never been to Denmark, but I would love to. Hold on. We had a long juggle between like the flights, but I think we are gonna land in Denmark at some point. But I won't get to see any of it because I'll be stuck at the airport. But yeah, imagine. Do you have something planned? So it should be like near there. Bench? Is it this? Ooh. What do we have here? Letter from Violet to Theodore Gilden. My dear Theodore, you know I value our friendship more than most other bonds. We share the same restless soul, and your acceptance and support in trying times has been a blessing. I'm endlessly grateful for the turn of fate that saw Sigurd and I join the same expedition as you. It changed my life for the better. Nevertheless, I'm not blind, nor a hypocrite. I know that your feelings toward me have deepened. Forgive me, Theodore, but I do not feel as you do. I must spare you the pain of one-sided love before it's too late. Please see enclosed the necklace you so thoughtfully gifted in remembrance of our adventure together. I cannot in good conscience continue to wear it. I know this letter will cause you such hurt, and for that I can but apologize deeply. Yet my heart is with Sigurd, who is still who is still unaware of your desires. If this sees the end of our friendship, I will understand, but I truly hope we can continue to share the conversations, collaborations, and kindnesses that have brought me such joy all these years. Yours respectfully, Violet. Hey!
Your chicken, huh?
I don't even know how long he did. Like, Jay spent so much effort getting KFC, which might not sound like much, but the first KFC ever in Finland opened like maybe a couple weeks ago, and apparently it is even now incredibly popular.
My mother always wore this around her neck until one day it disappeared. I was wondering where it went. She said it was a birthday present from a good friend.
Good friend. Okay. Visiting a friend. Oh, that sounds so nice. That was the necklace. There's a like a round mirror. I think that was on the second floor. I think I know.
Another glimpse of a memory, John. It's fuzzy, but I'm sure it happens somewhere in the manor.
I think I know where that is.
Shall we go?
Yeah, first ever KFC. It must be weird for someone who's used to it. Like, it's not even that long since I still remember when Burger King came to Finland, and oh my god, there was like lines out on the streets to like people like and like the fact is it's not like the first time we've had KFC. I mean, we've traveled to places where there's
Garden's
KFC.
much prettier, don't you think?
And
I
like
bet the memories.
I don't know, I would say that you can get similar chicken from other restaurants too and stuff like that.
You know, I envy you, Sherry. You can
People
talk to
are
other
obsessed.
people and they won't ignore you.
And I envy you. You can ignore any person you're bored with. You don't miss out on much. Most men are dull, unlike yourself.
Well, I'm flattered.
Good evening, Joda. How you doing? Thank you so much for the snacks. How was your game night?
Another one. There must be something important behind it. I can feel it.
Did I get a key or something? Right. Andy, hey, how you doing? Glass of sherry. Well, here you have it. Yeah, I'm like 100% sure this is the spot, but I'm not sure what I'm meant to be doing. How you doing, Andy? Happy Wednesday. KFC in Japan during Christmas. Okay, please explain, because I'm confused. People want KFC in Japan for Christmas?
I had a surprise for my mother. I was holding an ancient Greek vase, or rather, quite a big piece of it.
Oh no, did I break it? You literally have to book a month in advance if you want any bit of chicken. That's insane.
You had a shovel with you, John. I remember now. We dug up the vase from Greek ruins here on Cordona and were eager to show my mother right away.
Oh.
For some reason, the door was closed. We knocked.
But nobody answered. We thought that she was busy.
So we left the vase and ran downstairs.
Yeah, I'm definitely not used to something like that. Like, it must be a really fancy restaurant for you to have to wait for your food. Like, actually wait for it. Okay, downstairs, you say?
I decided to gather some archaeological tools in order to take a closer look at the vase.
But then we heard something, didn't we?
Yes. It came from upstairs.
Turkey, yeah. Japan looked at that and wanted the same, but they don't have turkey, so instead KFC. Okay, yeah, I kind of see the logic there, even though it's kind of funny. Should we go back now? But like, to me it seems like the whole point of Thanksgiving is that someone makes the turkey from scratch. So I feel like KFC is the furthest opposite of that.
The vase was broken,
But I mean,
shards scattered all over the floor. And
I
your
guess
mother was standing at the door.
Indeed, John. I doubt it was her. Let me concentrate.
guess any tradition can be nice like that. You can get an entirely grilled chicken at KFC. Oh, that makes a bit more sense, yeah.
Otto Richter was standing there, furious at us. Dr. Richter told us never to disturb my mother when the door is closed. He said she had broken the vase.
But we didn't believe him. I bet he smashed it.
Actually kind of sad. Well, I guess we just don't understand the entire concept.
Her things are still here.
Presumably Mycroft never felt the need to sort through it all.
Or couldn't bring himself to.
No. He would have put it behind him and moved on. My brother is not one for sentimentality.
Like, is Christmas a big thing in Japan? Gonna do that with friends. Sounds like that is definitely something one needs to do if moving to Japan. Yeah. Hello, Mixed. How you doing? Could be marketing.
Look what I found. The White King is under attack. Sherry, can you save him and checkmate the opponent in one move?
Oh no, is there a chess puzzle on?
You're not obliged to be here, Sherry. We can leave any time you want.
Okay, how do I play? I'm down. I'm down. I don't need to worry. I'm freaking Sherlock Holmes. Losing in chess.
Looks like it was damaged by a blunt object.
Jimmy, thank you so much for the snacks. Christmas is massive. The 1st of November is when all the lights come up and it gets taken down somewhere in January. Last Christmas, everyone. Well, that sounds about the same as here. Mm-hmm.
This room always reeked with an acrid medicinal stench. And here is the reason.
Medicine cabinet. Yeah, I think in public the lights go up around the 1st of November. Yeah. I've not put any in our house yet.
This picture was drawn by my mother. I recognize her hand. There's a date on it, 8th of December, 1868.
Nice. I would really like to decorate our balcony somehow, but it's difficult. It's like I can't really put lights hanging anywhere.
This seems a bit odd. I can recognize my mother's style, but it's far too sloppy. Dated 12th of February, 1869.
Maybe her condition was getting worse and that's why it looks sloppier. Oh, what the...
It's difficult to tell what this is meant to represent. There's no date at all.
That's sad. That is sad. It's not Christmas time till December. Yeah, I agree. Like, it's definitely not Christmas time to me yet. However, it's so depressingly dark that I would love to have some lights on. And in fact, I actually have many lights like around the year, which I never take off. They're not like Christmassy, but they are, you know, lights. But I guess it would be appropriate to put some more on the balcony. Wrap it around somehow. The only thing there is the kitty tree. I mean, the cats aren't in the kitty tree because it's so cold. But I mean, it's a bit weird. There are like 2 hooks in the ceiling, and I've been thinking like if I could get like 2 like nice looking decorations, so that could work. But hanging like a long strip of lights with just 2 hooks, it's gonna look messy. I don't know. Maybe I should try it before I judge it, but...
No labels. I doubt it ever had one. There appear to be residues of the bottle's contents at the bottom.
Oh, we can do probably chemical analysis.
Do you think the doctor could have used these tools here? I hope not.
Yeah, what is that even? What do you do with this stuff? Looks scary. Observation journal. Observations of Mrs. Violet Holmes, Dr. Otto Richter. However you would pronounce that. 19th of May, 1868. Initial consultation revealed the patient suffers sleep problems, periods of anxiety, and slight confusion of memories. Prescribed a strong sedative to be administered daily and will continue to monitor symptoms. 3rd of August, same year, sedation has helped minimize anxiety attacks, but Mrs. Holmes now experiences catatonia, apathy, and prolonged depressive states. Moreover, the patient's confusion has worsened, and she has begun writing letters to her deceased husband as if he were alive. I have prescribed 6 further drugs to balance her mental state and weekly hydrotherapy. In November, the current drug regimen has delivered middling results, with confusion worsening into near constant delusion. Patient grows aggravated when these beliefs are contradicted, prompting aggressive behavior. I have now witnessed several episodes of violence against her own family and towards herself. Consequently, I ordered that bars be installed on the windows and that Mrs. Holmes be strapped to her bed at night. The dosage of all medications has been raised. I have prescribed the patient additional hypnotherapy sessions, as well as some mild hallucinogens. Are you sure all of this is working? Okay. It's like... Nowadays, I trust doctors prescribing stuff more, but in like the 1800s, you just like pump random things into people who seem off normal. Like, that sounds bad.
Straps on the bed. Just doesn't look right.
Also, if that's the straps, one could easily get out, probably.
Seems this was the most frequently used medication.
1 gram dissolved in a glass of water administered daily. Not to exceed 1 dose in 24 hours, not to be given to children.
1 dram dissolved in a glass of
Oh,
water
I didn't expect
administered
him to
daily.
read it out
Not
loud.
to exceed
Usually
1 dose
he
in
just like
24 hours. Not
has
to
a
be given to
comment about
children.
things. Could we like read this? Okay. February 1869, from Violet to Cider. My gentle Cider, alas, I am still yet to receive any correspondence from you. One presumes my previous letters are chasing you around the continent as you travel. I hope you are in good health and already on your way home. Forgive me my impatience, but life without your kind voice and bright eyes is scarcely worth living. The boys need their father around too. I can tell that they miss you, though, as you well know, Mycroft is not one to wear his heart on his sleeve. In case my prior letters have been lost, know that we have relocated to Cordona. Please come back soon. Forever yours, Violet. So the husband slash dad was already dead at that point. And she...
Oh, I would love to take a bath right now.
she
Not this
forgot.
one. Surface corrosion suggests it was prone to extreme temperature fluctuations. For medical purposes, I suppose.
What's that sound? Not sure she had a nice bath. Yeah, that sounded like a blast from the past. But... and it wasn't pleasant. Cider Holmes's obituary in the Times. London, August 1865. Mr. Cider Moreland Holmes, the renowned archaeologist, authenticator, and historian, is dead. A mere 41 years of age, he was seized by a cardiac event during the opera at the Covent Garden Theatre on Saturday. Despite a physician's best efforts, he remained insensible and died at 20 minutes past 6 o'clock last evening. His sudden end came as a severe shock to his large circle of acquaintances. Mr. Holmes is survived by his wife, Violet, and 2 sons, Mycroft, 16, and Sherlock, 6. Funeral services will be held Wednesday at the Highgate Cemetery of St. James by, what's Rev? W.E. Stanley. Now...
It's a strange feeling to read about my father's death in the newspaper. I can't recall anything except the deep feeling of loss.
You were too young. It happened before
I'm not
we
even gonna
met.
bother banning.
It's so
Because
sad.
they won't come back
I'm
anyway.
sorry.
An old sheet of paper. March 25, 1969. Examination notes of Dr. Otto Richter. Over the last few months, I have asked Mrs. Holmes to sketch some landscapes. The first few were clear and accurate, but subsequent drawings quickly drifted away from reality. It appears her disease progresses rapidly and perhaps even affects her vision. I may need to consider trepanation. Yeah, that was 2 at the same
It
time.
brings back some memories.
In case like you missed the other one, you still have a chance to become famous. Because that is exactly how you get famous, if you wanted to, is you buy followers. The absolutely best method proven. Because followers who... like... followers is the most useless metric on Twitch anyway. I'm sorry, Andy, but they were for me. Sorry. Exclusive offer. Managed to access my mother's room. What memories will I uncover? Hi, engineer. We put the domain name in the ultimate block list. And haven't had any since? Oh. Damn. Well, I can't see the message anymore. What's the domain name? That's very big brain. Hope you're doing good. Big follows. Ooh, I've never done anything with automod really. Automod. Like, how does one add a term here? His, like, you can do the different filters. Block terms and faces. Okay. Big follows. Okay. Yeah, I found it. Yes, in some ways, the mod view is much better. But it doesn't make sense to have that when you're streaming, really. Because it still has, like, a really big preview of the stream. But I checked it out when it was new. I checked it out on channels that I mod for. And I was like, well, damn. John dares me to play chess with him. Okay, let's play chess. Defend the king with the bishop. Save the king by retreating. Okay. So, John is black. He only has the king and one guy. So, it seems like we can afford to lose some, right? I'll defend it.
Oh, nice move. You saved the king and checkmated the black king with the rook.
What do you mean I checkmated? There's still that one piece in the way. I guess I don't really get chess. Okay. I was expecting a longer match, but hey. Okay, let's do the chemical analysis now. -3 red, -4 green, and 5 blue. I was thinking if we swap this. So it's... No, it was green that we want. Minus, not that one. Maybe I was thinking of this. Dinner time, pizza, okay, enjoy. Okay, so now we have 2. Wait, Did I... What? I'm confused. I'm determined to use this method now. Okay. -2 and 2. Getting somewhere. Then we could do like... -2 and 3. Combine them. I've not planned this whatsoever. Okay, so we have the 5 blue now. We still need -1 red and -2 green. 1 red, 1 green. That doesn't exist. If we would then flip this around, then we'd have 0. Then we'd have 0 red, but correct the rest, and then we flip this and combine them. That would be... Yeah. It's like my brain can only use like 2 methods at a time. And then it will not use any other methods. But when we get there. Luckily, I'm sure there's like a gazillion different ways to do this. Hallucinogen driven, derived from mushrooms. Cool. Okay, what is this? After examining my mother's room, I started remembering a chaotic morning together. Oh, okay. Broken plate.
Broken plate shards were all over the floor. Mycroft had to change his suit as the one he was wearing was completely stained. Mother was troubled that morning. Something we did upset her. Dr. Richter tried to calm her down.
Richter. Okay, I'll try to remember that. Where's the next? I feel strong vibrations. It's like something's going on. Only when I'm here though. Oh, I see it.
We had to put the tray with Mother's morning tea down, but why? It's starting to ring a bell. I think it happened in the morning.
What happened in the morning? Okay. So Richter showed her something and she went cray cray. Or she's crying and I don't know what Richter is doing exactly. Those are the only two options, huh? Okay. We were playing with the teeth. Or I was... Oh, I must have been scared. I think that makes more sense. I think we would have been scared. Okay, what happened in here? Mycroft was probably... Mycroft dropped a plate. I'm not sure what's going on. But he's having the tray, but then also the tray is over there. But a plate definitely dropped. But this one is like not smudging his suit though. This kind of makes sense. I'm not sure about the kids. Let's check. Oh, okay. First try.
Liars! Get away from me! It's not true! It's not real!
What? Oh. Everything will be okay, Sherry. I promise.
What was that Mycroft voice acting like? What? Oh.
It was the morning of the 9th of April, the day my mother died.
The 9th of April started off badly. My mother was anxious, then hysterical. She threw food and shouted at the doctor, calling him a liar. John and I brought her morning tea, but when the shout started, I became scared. The only thing I could think to do was hide near the bed and wait for everything to pass. Thankfully, John was there to protect me and calm me down. Cherry, happy Wednesday. How you doing?
My mother, she was not just ill, but had. God have mercy.
I'm sorry. That explains why you locked the memory away.
There must be more, John. That was the morning of her death. I need to know what happened.
Every time you... I just don't... Please, Sherry, leave it be.
Just breathe, John. You know that I cannot leave the last stone unturned. We are so close.
I know. But can we at least leave it for another day?
Work lurking, all is good. Thank you. Hope you're having a good day at work.
Well, history tells us these memories are triggered by our investigation of other matters. I suspect it could not be forced even if I so desired.
Thank you. How are you feeling about all this? Tell me, I'm not the only one reeling.
It feels wrong, sad. Like they're the memories of another man. I'm struggling to reconcile my love for my mother with the reality of who she was. And worse, what possessed Mycroft to lie about it? There are precious few pieces of this puzzle remaining, John. Let us dawdle here no longer.
Indeed.
Dawdle.
Wait. Did you hear that?
Yes. Metallic soles. What is this sailor doing here?
Busy, can't wait till it's over. Busy usually means that it'll go by fast, so hopefully that's true. Hello?
Sherlock Holmes, isn't it? I
Who
was
are
looking
you?
for you.
With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
You could
You
have
could call
knocked.
me your new game. The rules are simple. I have something for you, but you alone must work out what that is.
And that something is my prize, I suppose?
You're a fast learner, sir.
What does he have on his forehead? This pink thing. It's paint, okay. Old and shabby. No signs of hard physical work. Left-handed, hiding something square-shaped. Could be like a piece of paper. Okay, is he an artist disguised as a sailor or a sailor artist? Let's see. A man dressed as a sailor came to my house declaring that he was my new game. A drop of pink paint in his hair betrayed him as a man who is involved in the art sphere. His hand showed no signs of regular physical activity, no corns nor rough skin, which is at odds with his mariner outfit. Few artists know my name or where I live, so Vogel best fits the role of the game master. Considering the tiny square-shaped object in the fake sailor's pocket, I deduced he was employed at Vogel's art gallery, and the real reason for his visit was to pass me an invitation. Sounds good. Let's see about this one. A sailor came to my house declaring that he was my new game. His hands showed no signs of regular physical activity, no corns nor rough skin, but owing to the fact he had an old worn-out uniform, I assumed he was still in service. He had a drop of pink paint in his hair, which led me to believe he is somehow involved in the art sphere. Considering the tiny square-shaped object in the sailor's pocket, I deduced the real reason behind his visit was to pass me an invitation to visit his exhibition. Nah, I'm sure Vogel is behind this.
I cannot believe that Mr. Vogel has somehow successfully called my
The
attention
painter
to his
guy
gallery.
from the cemetery.
You're here with an invitation to visit it, obviously.
My word, you are fast, Mr. Holmes. Could you explain how you came to that conclusion?
Of course. Explanations are my favorite part of any conversation. Hands without any sign of regular physical activity, in contradiction to one who would most usually wear such a uniform. The paint in your hair is pink. I don't know of any military service that paints their ships pink, unless they have launched a new fashionable fleet. A sailor with the soul of an artist? I would suggest
I'll
rather
tell you,
a
Sherry.
gallery employee disguised as a sailor to mislead me. How many artists on the island know where I live and of my passion for deduction? Werner Vogel is clearly at the top of the list. And you've been attempting to conceal something square-shaped within your pocket. An invitation, I suppose. An invitation to Mr. Vogel's gallery.
That was remarkable, Mr. Holmes. Mr. Vogel was right about your genius. I think he may have even underestimated you. This is your invitation. Please tell Mr. Vogel that the seed has been planted. He asked me to tell you to do so, if you win this little game. Farewell.
My dear Sherlock Holmes, as you no doubt have already guessed, I would like to invite you to experience my art exhibition, not only for the purpose of the contemplation of beauty, but in a more general need of your genius. You will find the gallery at the Caravanserai, at the crossroads of Bazaar Road and Herms Avenue in Old City. Always your friend, Vivi. So... yeah, so the elephant ran away, remember? And then in the end we got it back by making a giant girl elephant balloon which smelled like elephant sweat, and we like made some horny noises with a foghorn, and we got it back. Now for the case itself, it was one of those cases which I don't know. I don't know what was the right call, and I even checked a walkthrough and there is no right answer to the case, which was kind of infuriating. But yeah, we decided to blame it on the archaeologist. Because I wanted Imogen to be happy with Paul. She would have been all alone otherwise. Yeah, I didn't have a much better reason. Honestly. Thank you so much for the snacks. Yeah, the archaeologist had good points though about like an elephant shouldn't be kept captive like that. Like I bet it really just wanted out. But I'm pretty sure that somebody like there it is. My balloon is still here. I wonder what the elephant is. Like I kind of wanted them to be friends. You know, doesn't matter if it's imaginary. I mean, we have John and everything's fine. So yeah, I do think that someone aggroed the elephant. Like I doubt that it aggroed randomly itself on its own. But yeah, I just don't know who it was. And I did everything I could so we would not execute the elephant. No, we set it free. Or we chose to set it free, but then Imogen already like said to us that somebody already came and wanted it on their backyard. So I worry that the elephant's conditions didn't really get any better,
Mr.
but
Sherlock
we tried.
Holmes, I presume.
Correct. With whom do I have the pleasure?
Emilio Esteva, happy to make your acquaintance. I am here on behalf of Mycroft, your brother. He's on his way to Cordona. In the meantime, he requests your assistance with a sensitive
Why
matter.
is he coming here?
My orders are to provide you with the details.
You have my attention, Mr. Esteva.
Mark Ridley, the son of General Arthur Ridley, is being blackmailed. Suffice to say, the compromising material is of a delicate nature. The matter is of no small importance to the Crown, especially given the status quo on Cordona.
What about the status quo?
The Ottoman population holds a certain animosity towards the colonial rule. It's been this way since we took over the island. General Ridley made concessions with their leaders, but I'm afraid we are still teetering on the edge of open hostility.
What does Mycroft want me to do? Retrieve the blackmail material?
No, sir, nothing of the sort. Mark Ridley is meeting the blackmailer atop the old city bridge tower. You shall observe from a distance, then establish the blackmailer's identity. Do not attempt to arrest him. We'll handle it from there.
Saving the best for yourself? Fine.
There's a cafe just over the bridge that provides a good vantage point. Please report to me when you are done. I'll be waiting for you here, and remember, discretion is of the essence.
I really like, I don't know, like, look at his shirt. It's a basic, shirt. But then the sleeve that comes from the coat, they're like polka dots. I like that. Okay. So, the muse from abroad. First, what's the new stuff here? John felt sick after we recalled the morning of my mother's death. Okay. So let's go here then. Old City. Bazaar Road, Hermes Avenue. Bazaar Road is here. Hermes Avenue. Okay. We are going here. Awesome. How many times have I ran here and I've just now discovered this clothing? I feel like I've been at the marketplace 3 times now. Bookstore? I want to check this out.
A fresh newspaper?
Cordona Chronicle? An historic. I'll buy both.
I wish you pleasant reading.
Guess they're here now. Citizens across Miners End and Silverton last night awoke to gunshots and screams, the byproduct of a substantial police sting targeting the hideouts of the Hive crime syndicate. This unprecedented operation had been in planning for almost 6 months and led to 13 arrests per lead investigator Chief Constable Donovan. As Cordona police stormed the group's warehouses, many Hive ringleaders attempted to flee on a smuggling vessel loaded with weapons hidden inside wool crates. Officers learned of the escape plan and the ship was intercepted by a military patrol shortly after leaving the shores of Cordona. Once a powerful organization formed from the merger of several local gangs, unified beneath one mysterious master, the Hive appeared to be in decline for some time. The alleged result of its leader's death and subsequent factional infighting. Historical death. Many are immortalized by discoveries, good deeds, or achievements. Local archaeologist Arthur Swift will be in the books for a different reason. The murder of his partner, Theodore Gilden, using the latter's pet elephant. Mr. Swift shot a dart at the elephant, causing the furious and confused animal to kill Mr. Gilden. The ostensive motive? Ancient Roman treasures. Mr. Swift's trial was initially postponed due to this poor health, but is due to commence soon. So basically, that is what we did yesterday, and now it's in the news. This is how we accused of the archaeologist. Okay, so Vogel's art gallery is supposed to be here. Pharmacy. Oh, I have arrived, I think. This looks like an artsy place. Is this it? Okay. Poor elephant. Yeah, I mean, assuming we got it right. But I do think that somebody shot some arrow at him. I mean, we know that much, but it was like the question whether it was to try and like seduce it or to aggro it. That was kind of unknown, but I'm thinking it was to aggro. Or maybe maybe the shooter didn't know what they were doing. They were just trying to do something.
Mr. Holmes, you came. Oh, how kind. Though now, of course, I realize it is because of my game, not the works on display.
It needn't be one or the other. Your man's disguise was easily debunked, Mr. Vogel, but I shall admit that you planted in me the seed of curiosity.
Ah, terrific! I had no doubt you'd put the pieces together. Let us call it an opening gambit before the real game begins.
So, this little game of yours, what's it about?
An enigma to solve. A locked area in the basement with no windows found brutally vandalized. I have no clue how it was possible.
Hmm.
And this locked area downstairs, what exactly was it?
The under gallery. It's always shut, and I'm the only one with the key.
Ah, so this is your private collection, not part of the gallery.
Oh, no. It's an exclusive exhibition of eccentric pieces. Only a select cadre of artists, investors, and collectors are admitted. Not everyone deserves to have their eyes opened.
Okay.
What about this intrusion? What happened?
Last night, I was about to leave the gallery when I heard a noise downstairs. I went to the basement, but I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. It was admittedly a rudimentary inspection. It is not uncommon to get rats down there, so seeing nothing of note, I left and locked up the building. When I returned this morning, alas, I discovered that part of the exhibition had been torched, and there was no sign of the intruder. The mystery being, of course, that all the doors to the gallery were locked exactly as I left them.
And the door to the basement is the only entrance?
Correct. Tell me you're not intrigued.
I
Well,
am.
This matter is certainly within my wheelhouse.
This intrusion troubles me. Please take a look around if you're willing. The under gallery is through the door at the end.
I will see what I see.
Very interesting. Okay, but I wanted to see the paintings. Because, like, this one... This one caught my eye when we stepped in. Yeah. Guardian Spirit of the Waters. Yep. Oh my. Love and pain. Yeah. The Yellow Christ. Yep, he can't argue with that. He is yellow. Grave of a suicide victim. A Simpsons Christ. Pope for Munces and Stephen the Sixth. Oh my god, the Pope almost looks dead. These ones have no description. Guess they're just portraits. Right. John's admiring.
You sure you don't like art, Sherry?
The nude picture. Oh my god, that's a that's a vagina. And John's here like, oh yeah. Oh. The origin of the world. Like I'm glad that the plant is right there. But like you can definitely see behind there. Okay. The apparition. Someone's head is there. But what does it say? Bollington from behind. I wonder if these who aren't like named, I wonder if these could be people from the dev team or something. The luncheon on the grass. Was the woman naked? Everyone else is clothed as usual. Of course, why wouldn't she be? Silly question. Okay, so I'm guessing it's down there. Is this the way? No. The AC Swinburne room.
Back home, we've got a taxidermist. He's
Guy
gonna have a
knows no
heart
shit.
attack when he sees what I bring him.
Oh my god, John, are you kidding me? Wait a second. John, please. Is that an actual shark dripping blood and whatnot? I'm very interested in the description if it has one. Yeah, that must stink so bad. Who wants to see this? I feel like I've seen this before. This painting.
Saturn devouring his son. Oh, grim composition.
Unflinching in its ferocity.
I don't know, the others might be too, but this one I recognize. Isn't this a real one? Yeah. Poor Sharky. Yeah, I hope it was dead already when they brought it here.
The parasites of creativity. Or just a reflection of the artist's recreational interests.
Just wanted to swim and play. Yeah. The pipe is dripping. Is it purposely dripping onto the painting?
Sodden and mold-ridden. One presumes deliberately.
Yeah, presuming. Looks to have been slightly what? Don't like this game. I don't like his gallery. Oh.
A handprint of the thing from another world. But it looks fresh, and its coal origin ruins the effect of the extra mundane.
Sherry, how about some company in that dreary chamber of yours?
Leave my loneliness unbroken, John.
Well, if it ain't the sex dungeon. Are these like plastic sheets? Ew. So what's this?
A true artist never shows an unfinished piece.
Very fair. Kinky.
Old, and hasn't been used for a long time.
$29 inches? 24 inches?
The left step's length is shorter than the right. It indicates that the walker was lame.
Did they come in from here?
Closed with a metal bolt.
They must have come from... Yeah, look at that.
Footprints. Size 9.5.
Is that big? Looks very small. Magnet. Oh yeah, that's how they removed the hatch or the latch, right? With a magnet, and then they came through here. Well, that's easy solved. Of how they got in. Wonder if that's how they got out as well. The old wild room. Is that Oscar Wilde? I'm not sure who that is, but I remember that name exists. Frame is empty.
Ugh, sheer vandalism. Only an ignorant person could do such a thing.
Ooh.
A Malpal butt.
Malpal butt.
Coal fingerprints. I think we're looking for a man with a coal moustache.
Okay, we can already do the thing. So they burned some paintings, and that seems to be it. All the rest was left intact. Like, it seems that everything else is as they are supposed to be. Chain is fragile. For paintings? We located a coffin with a skeleton inside, which had been slightly moved. On the coffin lid, someone had left a cold handprint. Coal hatchin was bolted closed, but on the inner side of its door we found fresh scratches with magnet filings. Inside the hatch, someone had left several footprints. Coal footprints trail had been left on the floor. The left step is shorter than the right, which indicates lameness. Most of the paintings had been removed from its hangers. A pile of ashes from burned paintings lies on the floor, but one of them frames appears to be empty. Near them we found a Malpal cigarette. That could be how the fire started. Did I miss something more here? Guess not. Okay, John? Yeah, it was definitely Fogel who came down the stairs checking. Did they hide in the coffin? I mean, the handprint matches this one much better. No, what the heck? Why would he do that? I mean, that would explain why the steps are different lengths, but it wouldn't explain the footprints inside there. So I do think the intruder came from there. They burned it. Or was it himself? That's like an option. Why? No, I'll believe him that he was, you know, like someone came through here. Let's see. We might be wrong though. No, it's correct.
The intruder entered the basement through the coal chute. He used a magnet to open the hatch bolt. He accidentally pushed a shovel to the floor. Vogel heard the noise. At the sound of his approaching footsteps, the intruder hid inside the coffin. When Vogel entered the basement, he failed to notice anything strange and left without properly checking. The intruder waited until Vogel had left the caravanserai before burning the paintings in Wilde's room. But the vandalism was a cover for the theft.
Yeah, because one of the paintings was missing. Mm-hmm. Yo, dude. I solved it. Hey, dude.
The pieces are not what I expected.
What do you think my collection is about?
It's about decay or decandence or death. What's decandence? Oh, decadence. Moral or cultural decline as characterized by excessive indulgence in pleasure or luxury. I mean, the bed part was the only one with of which I would, you know, think about pleasure in any sense. I think it's about decay.
Extravagant paintings have been left to rot in a basement. A commentary on decay and the crumbling of society, correct?
I don't know.
Well, that's absurd. Of course you know. It's your gallery.
There is no one answer, no singular truth, but many filtered through the subjective mind. That forgetting, embellishing, lying machine. Besides, what's wrong with a lie if it makes life more interesting?
What's wrong with a lie? It corrupts the ability of others to behave freely and rationally.
Men never act freely and rationally anyway. It matters not what is or isn't in the end. The only important thing is how you feel. And I simply want to feel and consume as much as I can. Don't you?
Feelings are simply one's animal ancestry trying to wrest back control of the brain. I try to avoid the distraction.
You try not to feel, even in a place like this? None of it moves you?
To be frank, I struggle to maintain even a whit of interest in art.
But Mr. Holmes, it is joy incarnate, mankind's greatest achievement.
Mankind's highest achievement above all others is objective and rational thought.
I see then why you dislike art, for it means whatever you want it to.
Or perhaps, Mr. Vogel, I was lying.
Uh-huh.
People having too much fun and destroying society? Yeah. But again, only the bed part, in my opinion. Like, we don't know what the burned paintings were, but the rest did not seem anyhow fun. The case was interesting. Case was trivial.
Mr. Vogel, I have confirmed that the intruder was an average-sized, flexible Malpal smoker with a limp. As it happens, the vandalism was a cover. The true intent was to steal a painting without your knowledge. The fact is, one of the pieces from the Wild Room is not in the wreckage.
What? That is extraordinary.
Limping visitor. About the break-in? About the theft? Break-in first.
The intruder entered the basement through the coal chute. He used a magnet to open the latch and dislodged the shovel while doing so. That's the noise you heard yesterday. When you went downstairs to investigate, he hid in the coffin.
It seems I should have checked the space more thoroughly.
Yup. Okay, he was limping.
This thief was familiar with the gallery and he was sporting a limp. Do any of your clients or artists come to mind?
My. Your attention to detail is remarkable, Mr. Holmes. I should introduce you to Bosch's works. Alas, I'm afraid I cannot suggest a culprit.
So the limping didn't ring a bell?
The fire was a clever attempt to hide a stolen painting, even if it didn't fool me. I found the remnants of an empty frame in the pile of ashes. The canvas had been removed. Do you know which paintings in the Wild Room may have interested a thief? Were any particularly expensive?
Those pieces belong to a well-known artist named Boniface Mercurio. They're controversial, but not of a notably high value.
There's something more, is there not? I can see it in your eyes.
Indeed. There is another intriguing angle. I recently received an anonymous offer for one of Mercurio's works. The sum was more than fair, and indeed could have saved Mercurio from his artistic poverty. But he declined it.
Was it a performative whim? Some artists lionize pain and hardship as if their work would be worse after a meal and a hot bath.
I cannot tell. But not only did he refuse the deal, he insisted on displaying the painting in the public space. I was hoping to change his mind, but artists are a special breed of stubborn.
Yeah, what's the painting?
What was depicted in the piece?
A bound woman, wrapped in robes, being penetrated by a red devil that stared at us, the viewer. The beast had numerous tails growing from his back, and a large crowd gathered around the pair, silently watching the orgiastic scene.
Okay, well, given the nature of the other works on display, it's
So I wouldn't
hard
want
to see
that.
why that one stood out. What could possibly be its value?
The evaluation of art is very subjective, Mr. Holmes. After all, art is everything. A poem, a bruise, the beads of sweat on your beloved skin. Even a masterfully solved crime.
I'm not sure I see the connection.
Regardless, the painting was one of a series called The Sabbath Night in Cordona. The works depict sex, violence, and other controversial acts that life, for better or worse, contains.
Ah, I see.
I'm not sure that you do, but that can wait for another time.
Okay. Now we know what kind of painting we're looking for.
So where can I find Boniface Mercurio?
I know
Don't
he
recall
lives somewhere
seeing
in
one of
Old
that
City,
kind.
but couldn't be more specific. He's a prominent figure, so finding him shouldn't be a problem.
Well, I believe I have enough to begin. Thank you, Mr. Vogel. Your gallery certainly has unexpected depths.
I'm delighted to have been able to please a friend. In return, I expect you to come back with good news. Or at least with a good story.
It's time to change. Do we want the vampire outfit? I think I want to go and buy something nice. So the address, we should find it in the city hall, probably. Yeah, so let's go there, I guess. But maybe we could first find some clothes. I feel like changing my style a little. There are some clothes right there. Let's go there first. I do believe that all of them sell the same clothes, so it like doesn't really matter. Where am I? Doesn't really matter where you shop, I think. Furniture dealer. Hello? It should be like...
Come,
pass
come.
by. Welcome,
Decorate your
welcome.
house.
This
Merhaba.
one.
It's a good day for a purchase.
Okay. A rug? A screen? A chandelier. And a pirate's pistol. Whoa, it has like a head on it. That's sick. A perfect toy for children. Perfect. I could come up with a couple better ones. Okay. Let's buy this stuff. Hell yeah.
May your purchase bring you joy.
This game is made in the US? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's a Ukrainian studio. And I think... Oh my goodness. Violet! Thank you so much for the raid. Hi! Oh my gosh. Hi Daedalus, hi Shelly Face, hi G Scott. Hi Shadowwise, hi Violet. Hi, Mads Hatter. Hello, hello. How you doing? Thank you so much for the follow. The crazy old gamer, welcome. How is Skyrim? I lurked there a little bit. I was gonna just show. Oh yeah, it's in the DLC that's not yet out. I think it's coming out today or something. There's just a few more outfits. I'm gonna let Sean out of his misery and not put him in the ice cream clothes anymore. Booksnail, hello. Welcome on in, everybody. We are playing the new Sherlock Holmes game where Sherlock is still young and not yet an established detective. We actually came to Cordona, Italy to somehow find peace with our mother's death, and things are escalating, and we're definitely detectiving. Doing the detective stuff. It's really cool. I really like this game so far. Whoops, thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. You twite. I really appreciate that, Cherry. Thank you. Where was I going? Oh yeah, to buy some clothes. Do you sell clothes? No, you don't look like.
Don't miss out on my... Let's pick something that suits you.
This one. Okay, I want something nice looking. I kind of like this coat, but in the DLC there's like this really good looking coat outfit, so I think I'm gonna wait for that, and maybe we'll get some suit or something first. You can dress up as a lady as well if you want. But yeah, somewhere in here, did I already pass it? There's like Ukrainian stuff too, or was it upcoming? I don't remember. There's the ugly beige suit. So much fun in discovering it. Oh, what exactly is the anniversary edition about? Servant. Like, all I know is just like yet another Skyrim in my books. I've never played that, by the way. Let's do this one. Or this one. The suit or the casual? Oh, I kind of like the texture. And sorry, I'm gonna get this one. Sorry I asked. So yeah, I don't really know much. Ooh. I like him shaved. Oh dear goody.
A good choice. A good choice indeed.
We were going to the city hall. Here. It's the DLC content for the special edition. Oh, it's just DLC? Oh. Yeah, I would have been misled. I had no idea. I'm doing well, thank you. Hope you're too. I'm really having fun with this game. I don't know if you are familiar with The Sinking City. It was like a Lovecraftian open world game. This is basically exactly like it, except for Sherlock and thus non-spooky. So I really like this. And there's like a twist. John is like supposedly like the Watson of this game, but he's totally just in our imagination. Like, he's not real. And I really like that twist. Wait, I need to pin this. Pin this one. But I love this world. This like whole island or parts of islands is amazing. really nice to explore. There's like different parts of it which are all unique. Caught my eye but never played it. I played it some time ago, but I really love Lovecraftian stuff. I like the sort of dwelling into madness theme. But I have to say this one's better. So I definitely recommend this if you like investigative games. Boniface Mercury lives somewhere. He doesn't know exactly. Okay, so District Old City. He's a citizen. A prominent person. What does that mean? What does prominent mean? I have my dictionary because I don't always understand everything. Yeah, really good. Really nice. I like it. The gameplay is almost identical except for the combat. They did something different with the combat with this one since, you know, Sherlock Holmes isn't really about that. So it's more like use your wits to defeat the enemy in this one rather than just like boom boom pow pow shoot things like it was in Sinking City. Important famous. Okay. Well, I don't know how that helps me here. Occupation? Like, what am I looking for? No? Okay. Legal documents? No? This is the first time that I'm a bit baffled. Usually these are kind of straightforward. It is very fun, yeah. And the cases are they're interesting too. Artist. I don't know. We're still at the 1800s, right? I'm like not exactly sure what year it is. Dang it, maybe something else is... Business is other. I mean, he lives here, but can we also select like... Oh no, we can't do two in the same category. No. I'm confused. He's famous? He's an artist. And we know in which part he lives. Is his art like a business? No. Ah. Did we try this yet? I'm losing it. Okay, That's me, Andy. I'm like, there's not a lot of information there. Like a prominent... He also mentions that Mr. Mercurio is a prominent person. That must mean that, like, that's, like... the final... piece of information that we need, but I don't understand it. He's a citizen here. Right? And I guess the period doesn't make sense, but is there something like that we haven't tried yet? I'll try everything. Why is John spamming his diary? But there's nothing new. Okay. Wait, what's this case? Oh yeah, the Mycroft's request. But I would like to focus on this one now. Let's see. Coal footprints. I mean, the police archives wouldn't make sense. Because we're looking for an address. The city hall is the place for an address. If something clicks for you that doesn't click for me, feel free to say, because this district must... That's like clear as day. Old city. Artist. Occupation is like... Let me just confirm. A job, yeah. So like we know his occupation. He's an artist. Oops, didn't mean to... Oh. Citizen? Business? Other? Official? No. Very weird. Let me check. That's very weird. What am I not getting? Wait, I'm supposed to be... Oh. Okay. I didn't think of that, but apparently we need to check the newspaper archives because he's a famous person. Weird, but okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. Whatever.
Woo!
Where am I? Thank you so much for the follow, Simulation Gamer. There we go. Okay. That was a bit confusing.
Mr. Holmes?
But okay.
Mr. Holmes, I see what you're up to. Mysterious stranger pursues betrothed woman. But please, let us keep things professional. I have in my possession an envelope containing details of a special assignment for you.
What?
Tell me, are you interested?
Yes.
I believe I am, but to be very clear, Miss Sertle, my interest extends to the message and not the messenger.
So he claims he's not a gal sneaker, seducing women everywhere he goes. Perhaps the truth is even more scandalous?
Please spare me the speculation. Return to the matter at hand.
A gang of smugglers, the Eels, have Cordona in their
All these
clammy
archive keepers
The
are
British
quite
Empire
thirsty.
can abide it no longer. Mycroft insists they be disbanded. But this organization only falls with the capture of their odious leader, Friedrich Panzer. And note well, I did say capture, not kill. Inside your envelope is a map marked with the Eels' warehouses. But alas, we do not know in which Friedrich Panzer resides.
So even Mycroft has his limits.
Indeed. You must be sure to identify the correct warehouse before entering. Because once one is compromised, the other's occupants will scatter.
Right.
Here are all the files, and feel free to use the archive too. Again, do not enter the wrong location, nor see any harm done to Friedrich Panzer.
Miss Sertle, if you're quite done with the redundant instructions, I shall get to work.
Well,
Okay.
that's perfect.
So that's like for
Tortured
me.
hero lashes out
Don't go
at the
in,
rejected romance.
you dummy,
Tomorrow's edition
until
will
you're
be a
sure.
sensation.
And also, do not kill the guy if there's like, if there's a fight happening. Fortified wine. From Spain. No, this one's from London. Right, so he's a celebrity in Old City now. Current year is 1880. Right, so we are in the 1800s. Yep. And there he is, the Brawl at artist's Sellout. The past week has brought us a new scandal regarding the local so-called artistic higher society. It all began at the painting Sellout, named by local artists as the Dance of Decadence. The director of a publishing house, The Lion, Darren Turwick, broke the idyll by throwing a chair at a decadent artist, Boniface Mercurio. As Mr. Turwick said later, he did it because Mr. Mercurio brought dishonor to his name. The column writer graciously reminds the reader that recently Mr. Mercurio was spotted with Mrs. Turwick at a coffee shop. Now give me some Afterwards, an orchestra conductor, Kurt Gallagher, smashed a painting across Mr. Turwick's head to protect his friend Mercurio. A large brawl started, including a large number of the customers. After a protracted fight, the police arrived. All the high society brawlers were arrested and placed under guard for a week. What a breathtaking event it was. As your local personal advisor, I suggest that you obtain a souvenir from the Sellout. Unfortunately, it has since ended, but Boniface Mercurio himself invites our readers to visit his home and purchase one of his paintings. Of course, there's an address here randomly. You will find him at the address Erms Avenue between Scarlet Street and Olive Street in Old City. GG. Okay, like, it's not really common that there's a newspaper article which mentions like a person's address, or is that just my thinking? I didn't find that logical. Anyhow, we got it. We got it. So Scarlet Street. Wasn't Scarlet Street like where we just were? That's Sesame Street. It's so tiny. I kind of want to visit to see if there's any Easter eggs. Scarlet Street. Wait. No, it's on Herms Avenue here, between Scarlet Street and Olive Street. So, like, here. Okay. Let's go. I can kind of easily get lost in these streets because they can be a maze sometimes with different levels and stuff. Like sometimes you're on a bridge and I'm like, I need to be down there, but I don't know how. Oh, did I just miss it?
Is this familiar to you?
It's funny when someone like you asks someone like me for help.
Oh yeah, I would have to be dressed differently to be able to get some help. Artist Sellout. So that's already the other street, right? Okay, let's change some clothes. I think I've got some wrecked stuff here. Let's try that one. Hi.
Could you help me?
What makes you think I can be of help to you?
I don't know.
Can I ask you a question?
No, I can't help.
Everyone's looking at us, Sherry. You sure you know what you're doing?
No, not at all. Could it be there? Aha, found it.
Excuse me, young man. Where do you think you're going?
Greetings, ma'am. I'm looking for the...
I don't care who you're looking for. You shall not pass. No
You
visitors
shall
allowed.
not pass.
I wish to buy a painting from Mr. Boniface Mercurio. Is he at...
Dearie, tell me, because old age has made me blind. Did someone write Information Bureau on my forehead? Because I'm not here to answer your questions. Entry is for residents only. If you aren't a resident, please leave, or I shall report you to the police.
Rude. Report me to the police all you want, though. I've helped them with several cases, I'm sure. They could be on my side. The landlady said that only residents were permitted to enter. I guess I'm not as tanned and unkempt as the bohemian artist. Tan? Can I buy a fake tan? Maybe I should buy something else. Tanned. I'm not tan.
Let's pick something that suits you.
Okay, so the vest is yet to come. Oh my god. I think this would this fit in? I feel like yes. But how about the tan? Ooh, okay. Oh, I want this hair. This is new. I've not seen that hair before. Tan. Okay, these definitely appeared only now when we started this quest because I literally just was here before.
A good choice. A
And
good choice indeed.
those weren't an option. That's okay. Oopsie. Sorry, kid. Now someone wants to, you know, immediately after come here. That's fine, right?
No visitors allowed.
But I look different now. Unkempt. I'm tanned. Like, I don't want to look like I'm poor either, because then I wouldn't be able to buy anything, right? Let's see if this worker's outfit.
No visitors allowed.
What do you want, lady? Maybe there was like a new outfit for sale too. I'm gonna fast travel, goddammit. I didn't check if there was a new outfit. There probably was.
Don't miss. Let's pick something that suits you.
Although there are so— oh, this one is new. I've not seen the ab shirt before. Okay. Oh, there's many. I actually like this color more. I'll probably buy them all at some point.
A good choice. A good choice indeed.
So, in that sense, it doesn't matter. Okay, we can find our way for the third time, right? So that's kind of, you know, a gameplay mechanic that you couldn't have bought the right outfit until it was time to go here.
No visitors allowed.
But I have everything, right? I have everything. Tanned and unkempt. So he looks like this, like shirt open, you know, the hair on the eyes. Oh, maybe some beard. Gotta be some beard. Forensic, how you doing? Everything else is on point, I think. To have to go and buy like what's like called when you have a little bit of beard? Oh my god, are you serious? Oh. Whoops.
Don't miss out on my... Let's pick
How you doing,
something that
Forensic?
suits you.
This one is not new. Wait, which one is new? Like, what's the difference even? Designer's stubble? Artist bristles. I guess it's called a stubble. I'm doing good, and yes, we found the elephant. We did. What's the difference? But I think this is the one that we want.
A good choice. A good choice indeed.
Come.
Can I go without a marker? I'm just practicing my way around the city, that's all. Everyone is concerned about the elephant. Rightfully so, the most important. Most important thing in the entire game. Mark of solid community. Absolutely.
No visitors allowed.
I am losing my mind. Do I need to have the same white shirt as he does, even though... Let's see if this changes anything.
Boniface,
Oh my god.
is that you?
I needed to have the white
Old
shirt.
age does terrible things to one's sight. I didn't recognize you at first.
How are you, Mum? I'm ashamed to admit that I've lost my key. Do you have a spare?
For heaven's sake. How many times
Oh,
will you use
we're...
that key of yours?
I didn't
Of course I
realize.
have a spare.
We
You
needed to
artists all
disguise
live in your
as
own little
him.
world.
Please, accept my thanks.
I would
Not
rather
like
accept your
something
rent.
he would like.
You promised to pay me several weeks ago and I'm still waiting.
I will pay you, I promise, very soon.
You'd better do, my dear. Or else I'll just change the lock. And I won't fall for those cow eyes.
Yeah, elephant. The poor thing had like a little scratch on his head, but otherwise he was fine, and we gave him a friend. We lured him out with a fake female elephant, which we still have at in our garden. Right, so we're sneaking in here, not like trying to go buy something. I understand. Oh. Oh boy. Yeah. Unfortunately, like, somebody took the elephant, and I worry that it's now in just the same situation as it was with them, just like locked up somewhere. Oh, okay, we found the painting. Do I dare to click on it?
Red skin, tails
Okay,
on the
it's
back.
not that.
Reminds me
Okay,
of Werder's description of the stolen painting.
it's not that graphic. There was legit a vagina at the art gallery, but they put a bush in front. But you could still kind of see through that. That was luckily more appropriate for the stream.
The chest has been searched.
Not so nice then. Yeah, I can hope that it's
Aunt
better.
May whiskey, brandy bucks. Quite a collection he had here.
But at least we didn't execute it, because that was an option, and I did my best to avoid it. Yeah, John was like, the vagina painting. Out of all the art pieces in the gallery, he chose that one. He's definitely a character.
It appears the wine was truly awful. I wonder where he got that fancy camera. Despite the overall tendency towards mess, you cannot sit with the drawer pulled out like this. Someone left it after searching.
Is that a challenge? True connoisseur. Mm-hmm. So, and before there's now gonna be rumors that a ghost is going around the town. It's like, he's dead, but I look like this.
The blood has dried.
I've heard of this style of painting. It is called expressionism.
Wait, John, what the heck are you doing? Is the easel and that real? I doubt it. I don't want to step in the blood, you know, that's bad detective work. If we did that. Newspaper at the toilet, classic. Whoa. Okay.
Look at this, John. Isn't it our stolen demon? The photograph was not pulled out in time. Such a waste of material.
So he was in the middle of developing some photos when this happened, I guess.
Judging by post-mortem rigidity, the body lay here for 1 or 2 days.
Okay.
The wound is precise. It was inflicted by a razor or a knife.
But he wasn't like attacked there in the red room. Red room. Murder. Okay. This is not Shining. But he was standing
Soaked in
here,
blood.
I think, and someone
It seems
just like...
as if the puddle of blood was here before the rags.
Oh. Bruises on the knuckles. Was he in a fight? What are we looking for? Oh, the knife.
Could be the murder weapon.
Yeah, the pattern of the blood. Looks like it.
A normal kitchen knife.
Can it really be 2 days old when the bananas are still like rather fine? What was he painting? What's that in the sea? Oh, it's a ship. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, we used to have like a big rack of Donald Duck comics in like next to the toilet. Nowadays, no need for such a thing. Alright, so let's try to piece this together. He was in here. Seems like he was like, he heard something. before I decide on that, let's see. It makes no sense that he would have cut his own throat. Not there. Because, like, how did he end up there? Nuh-uh. Not that one. Yeah, seems like there was a fight. Yeah, there was a smashed bottle. But we didn't see any head trauma. Other than the sliced throat. Aha, and see, that's where he reaches for the knife, right? Yeah, this could be. Could it be? Yeah, someone was going through the paintings. And he hears it being in the red room and comes running. No. And Asterix. Yeah, Asterix is here too, but like Donald Duck is definitely publicized more. Yes, I think they were like in a fight. Yeah, this seems about right. Yeah, validate.
Mercurio was developing photographs when the intruder snuck in.
We got it. First
Mercurio
try.
heard him coming. While the thief was searching the chest, the painter ran towards him with a bottle in his hand. He smashed it across the thief's head. The intruder had no choice but to defend himself, and the weapon of opportunity happened to be a kitchen knife. Mercurio stepped aside to grab the painting, but the wine-blinded thief attacked Mercurio's throat.
Wine-blinded.
When the thief came to his senses, he saw Mercurio bleeding on the floor. He grabbed the rags and tried to bandage him, but it was too late. Why did Mercurio attempt to snatch the painting in the middle of a fight? To strike the intruder? Not with his painting, it was too important to him.
Curious. And now the painting is still like on the floor. Like that's not the painting that the intruder came here for. Okay. Do we have anything here? Gallery intruder is a smoker who limps. Painter's flat was searched. The painter was killed in a fight. Mercurio's murder wasn't the thief's goal. Right. I think that's all there is for now. Mind Palace is horrifying, more like Murder Dungeon. Yeah, I wonder if it can be a nice place too. Okay. So do we care about this painting though? Do we want to bring this back
Red
to
skin,
the
tails on the back. Reminds me of Werder's description of the stolen painting.
to the gallery? The stolen painting. Does it indicate that he stole the painting? I don't think there's any traces of that. Like he would have had coal in his shoes and I guess we would have been able to deduct that he was limping and all that. Mawia Sherlock Holmes. If it isn't Sherder, Sherlock hero. How you doing, Spoder? You like it? Haul me off. Ah, blah, 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 blah. Why didn't Mercurio want to grab the painting in the middle of it? I don't think we can leave, but I'm not sure what we're doing. I'm doing good, thank you. We've disguised ourselves as the dead guy. I didn't know, to be fair, when we did this, I didn't know that he was dead. This is kind of weird now. Is there something more to see here? No. But the painting is weird, right? This one.
It's time for some chemical magic, John.
Okay, now we could grab it. Awesome, okay. Chemistry time! This is actually quite fun. 2 red, 1 green, -4 blue. We could easily make the -4 blue by swapping this. 2 red, 1 green. What does this do? Decrement subtracts 1 from the region's value. Okay. So when this is like +1, this is -1. Got it? I mean, we could do like a super easy, just -1 here. Add these together. And then let's do -1 of this. And add these together and we should have it, right? 2, 1, -4. Yep. Ta-da! I've managed to erase the blood by using chemicals. It's a still life painting of Mercurio's room. Why was it so important? We need to take a better look at this.
That doesn't look like the painting we need, Sherry.
As expected, but that doesn't mean it won't tell us anything. Let's put it on the easel where it belongs.
Okay.
I guess this is his most ordinary painting.
The skull is...
Spot the 2 differences, John?
The skull is missing. And... there's supposed to be... No, there is a roll of something. Can we take a look?
I guess this is his most ordinary painting. Spot the 2 differences, John?
I'm not sure what the other one is. This is definitely one.
If the intruder didn't take it, the skull should be somewhere here.
Also, Spoder. Yesterday, they had to call an. They went and called an elephant magnificent. A magnificent elephant. Hold on. With the magnificent elephant doll. Like, not only the elephant, but the elephant doll that we made, which I can show you. It's in our garden now. We made a life-size elephant doll. That's magnificent. They had to use that word, like magnificent butthole. What else is missing? I don't know. Oh.
Nothing behind it.
Oh. "2016. Oh my god, the meme just lives.
The chest has been searched.
Oh, and then I've also already searched that one. I'm not sure what else is different. Is that the skull? No, that's just a vase. Oh. Oh, here it is. Weird. You found the butthole.
Monster was actually a man. Poor girl. John, you ought to be thrilled. We are now hunting the devil himself.
What were you saying, Sherry? I was too busy sketching the scene, you know, crimes and such like, daily routine. Did you find something?
A photograph. It depicts a man in a red suit with tails sprouting from his back and multiple people in masks watching the scene. It all adds up. But the act of love, it wasn't given willingly, John. It was a violation. And the girl, she was with child.
Give that to me now. Did you recognize someone?
No. Although the victim is not from Cordona, she is African. Look at the ritual scars on her face.
Get that image out of your brain. You have to continue the investigation.
I must speak to the landlady. Perhaps she saw or heard something.
Sherry, you cannot tell her the truth about Mercurio. It will hurt her.
John, that's illogical. Sooner or later, she will come here and discover a corpse, and I still need to talk to her.
Just avoid mentioning corpse, all right? Stick to the character, tell her to call the police.
I'll take that into account.
And wait here. I've redrawn the people in the photograph. Now you can proceed with your investigation without those horrific details.
Where am I? Here. Okay, right case. There was a stash behind the skull where Mercurio kept a photograph of an African woman being violated by a man dressed as a demon. So here's our guy. John's drawing of a pregnant girl. John doesn't like the idea of telling the landlady the truth about Mercurio's death. Let's show her this.
What's wrong, dear? You look like you've seen a ghost.
I am the ghost. Let's do what John says. John is big brain because John's brain is my brain, so.
Can you tell me if anyone else has recently entered the flat?
Oh, you're talking about that limping man.
Limping man?
I'm sorry I let him in. I was scared. And I thought maybe he would motivate you to find money so that you would pay your rent. No offense, dear.
Can you describe him?
Oh, so you weren't at home. I was so certain you didn't leave your flat that day. He was of average height, had a limp, and a tattoo on his neck.
Tattoo on
and
the
he was
neck.
smoking Malpal cigarettes. My husband used to smoke those. They have a horrible smell I can recognize from a mile away.
Big brain.
Can I ask a favor?
Of course, dearie.
Please call the police and ask them to enter the flat. And don't look inside until they come up.
What? What trouble have you stepped in this time?
It really doesn't matter. Thank you, Mum.
Bye.
Phew, Sherry, that was close. But you did everything correctly. Now, take off your outfit. I can't let you walk around in a dead man's clothes.
It would be funny. Right? Maybe not so funny. So...
May I ask for your assistance?
Don't be angry with me, sir, but I don't know.
Okay, who looks like they could know? You kid. I can't talk to the kid. Who could I show this to? Could I have shown it to the lady?
You're acting so strange today, dear. I hope someday you'll let me inside that head of yours.
Wait, do you still think I am that guy? Just arrest the first person who gets spooked? Oh yeah!
You're acting so strange today, dear. I hope someday you'll let me inside that head of yours.
Okay, so she still thinks that I'm the guy. Okay, so the game didn't expect me to go back there, I guess. Hey, you.
May I ask for your assistance?
You want answers, but I don't want to talk to you, rich boy. So what happens now?
I change clothes. Is what happens. Now we could wear the similar outfit like this. Yeah. Hi.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
No, brother, I've never heard of this.
Everyone's looking at us, Sherry. You sure you know what you're doing?
No. Where could I ask for this?
Is this familiar to you?
What makes you think I can be of help to you?
Poor chap.
Like, where do we even go now? This is my only lead so far. Should I show this to Vogel? Where was he? He was here. Let's go show him that. Hello, Steve. How you doing? Happy Wednesday. Like, I don't know. Of course he's still admiring.
I think I'll leave the exhibition in its current state for a while. I'll call it The Art of Vandalism.
He doesn't know. Like, wasn't I supposed to ask? You're back in the home office? Don't like it. Oh no. What happened? Is the situation going worse there? Fourth wave. Oh no. And I thought we would like finally start being done with it. What's happening? Like, have people not been getting vaccinations or why? Ugh. I don't know who I'm supposed to ask from. Mm-hmm. Where are we? A worker's apron. Need to roam the streets and keep your eyes open for women dressed in similar clothes as in the drawing. Okay. So we were doing the right thing by asking around people. But we need this, I guess? Weird. Wait, Stimp, really? People haven't gotten the vaccine?
Excuse me, just one question.
No, I haven't heard about that.
I think we would need, like... Wait, you have a, like, fabric on your head. Stop running!
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
No, I haven't heard about that.
This isn't working.
Guess she's not
You
black.
might need a different tack.
She's not black. Who looks like this? Our school sent an email along the lines of the corona situation has gotten worse, and as such, we ain't gonna do shit. Okay, like, nice to know. Like, we could have read that from the news. Oh my goodness, yes, we got a fast travel point. Nice.
Help me, please.
Ask someone else. I have no information.
Are you able to help me?
I'm afraid my mind has gone blank.
Everyone's looking at us, Sherry. You sure you know what you're doing?
No. Damn it! Cambodia has a higher vaccination rate than Germany. Where are you at? Like how many? I think we're at 81% or something for people who have gotten 2 doses. What are you? No, I don't think so, but I'll
Can you
ask
satisfy
anyway.
my curiosity?
I'm afraid my mind has gone blank.
2/3, so like 66. Okay. Yeah. And like the situation isn't great here either, I guess.
Are you able to help me?
See?
Ask someone else. I have no information.
Sorry. I've not seen anyone with those kind of clothes.
Can I ask you a question?
I don't know about that, but people here should know more.
This isn't working.
Last
might
we
need
saw
a different
Finland was 72%. Yeah, I mean it could be like, I don't know, the chart that I saw could have been like people over 16 or something, and not the entire population. I already asked her.
What's up?
May I ask for your assistance?
No. Not because I don't know, but because I don't care about your problems.
But I think we've been at the 80% for very long. Like I feel like there's just 20% of people who aren't like even gonna take it or something, because it's not gone up.
Don't miss out on my unique clothes. Let's pick something that suits you.
Your unique clothes. Let's see them. Are they the same? They're literally the same. Yeah, here's an Ukrainian outfit.
Don't leave. Take one more look.
He's got... I don't know. You've got the similar head thing.
Can I ask you a question?
I've never heard of it. I'm sorry.
They should be fine, but they carry it into their families. Yeah, and then if the family isn't vaccinated, then... I've not paid a lot of attention to the COVID news.
Good heavens.
Lately.
You have a priest.
What happened to the priest? I think this is for some other case entirely, but let's do this. What happened to the priest? Severed hand? People scared? Oh. Curfew. Cold case. Religious conflict. Oh goddamn. Bloody saw. Okay, good enough. People are talking about a priest who was found dead with his hand severed. The only item of note that the police were able to find was a saw lying next to the body. Despite an ongoing investigation, people are worried that the culprit will escape unpunished. Just out of interest. Yeah, I guess I just get tired of it, like every now and then.
May I ask you something?
I cannot, sorry.
Authentic Italian. That's not pizza, that's some bread, right? Yeah, pani. Okay. Give me a woman that fits the description. Like, I checked a walkthrough and I should be wearing the right thing and I should be around the area where it is most common to run into someone like this. And it just says like it's random when you'll find one. So, yay. I still worry that I'm doing something wrong. What is this place? Why does it exist? If anyone sees a woman like that, just scream so loud that I can hear you from where you are. Why are you kicking a door? Oh, the frames are really bad here. This game suffers a bit of you know, frame rate issues. At least on PS5. But it's not ruining it for me or anything, it's just unfortunate.
Are you able to help me?
Excuse my ignorance, but I have no idea.
Okay, so what did this person look like? They found like a kid, or is that a teen or something? With a skirt on? Hard to tell the skin color. Is it black or something lighter? And yeah, they do have a turbine on. Turbine, I don't know how to say that. I don't recall seeing anyone like that. Yes, we'll see how everything goes. I hope everything's fine. We're like traveling for next week.
May I ask you something?
I've never heard of it. I'm sorry.
Like, we're both fully, or like, vaccinated twice. I don't know what's a full vaccine anymore. Anyway, and I did a test last week before before a work event, and obviously it was negative and such. My god. I don't know if there's more types of characters that would fit the description, but what is this place? Some drunk is sleeping. That's so nice. And we are going to somewhere that has like very good situation with COVID, so.
Is this familiar to you?
I am sorry to disappoint you, but I don't know about that.
What's happening over there? Okay, we're back to kids. I think that's good. Hey.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Oh, I've heard talk.
Oh! I found! Oh my god. It wasn't a girl, but I took my chances. Oh, why was that so hard? The scars on the girl's face seem to be from Iwi's ethnic group tribe. The only place where you can find Iwi's people in Cordona is the refugee camp, located under Victoria Bridge between Scaladio and Silverton. Oh. And now that's the girl who was in the walkthrough. Holy. Okay. Place on map. Scaladio and Silverton. Victoria Bridge. Victoria Bridge, here. Okay. Let's go. Don't think I need that anymore. I really like the soundtrack. Like the one in the previous area was also really nice. So it was under this bridge. Okay.
Beasts!
Found it. What is going on? The cops are here. Are they even doing anything?
Murderers!
They're completely
Oh,
livid.
okay. So there's a
First they
protest.
come to our
Okay.
land,
Okay.
then they
Okay.
murder our people. Drop them
Hello?
all into the sea.
Sir, this place is off limits to the public. Please state your business or leave, or I shall request that the police escort you out.
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm a private investigator. I'm looking for a witness for a
I don't
case.
look like
A
it,
private
but
investigator? Really? Even so, you're not authorized. I can't let you in.
And you are?
I'm Ronald Harlow, here to handle the refugee situation on behalf of City Hall. I'm the acting supervisor here, so I have full authority here to ask you to leave, or I shall order the police to detain you for trying to pass the blockade. Please, step back.
okay, let me take a look at you. Works indoors, poor lighting. Wants to look authoritative. Like, look at all those layers. Sweating, stressed. Is this your first case, dude? Sedentary. What does that mean? Tending to spend much time seated, somewhat inactive. Okay. Tries to appear older. Huh? Overdressed, damp palms, pale, clean shoes, light mustache. I'm an onion from City Hall. Look at all my layers. Okay, is he tired pen pusher or dazed formalist? Ronald Harlow is a depressed young clerk, exhausted by his day-to-day job. City Hall has assigned him to oversee the refugee camp, but he's too tired and indifferent to solve the problems that arise. He has a scant mustache, which he thinks makes him look older. Pale skin and bags under his eyes suggest he is tired of his dark, cramped office, which he rarely leaves. Yet, judging by his clean and barely worn shoes, he does not favor the outdoors in any case. Sweaty palms suggest that Ronald is stressed. He might have worn fewer clothes considering today's weather. Or Ronald Harlow is a pale young clerk who tries his best to oversee a refugee camp assigned to him by City Hall. He's not very happy with such responsibility, but he always does things by the book and executes all tasks he is given. However, he lacks the experience to deal with problems outside his writing desk. He's attempting to look older than his years by growing a scant mustache. Pale skin and bags under his eyes suggest he works at a poorly lit office which he rarely leaves, judging by his clean and barely worn shoes. He craves to look authoritative by wearing smart clothes, but his look is out of place considering Cordona's weather. Sweaty palms suggest that Ronald is extremely stressed by being outside his comfort zone. This 100%, yeah, this one makes more sense.
What about the murder that this crowd keeps shouting about?
It's mere assumption. I assure you that the situation is under the police's control.
I know you want to deal with this in the right way. You are obviously a professional and a responsible person, but you clearly have never handled a situation like this before.
I am handling it, Mr. Holmes. Don't question my capability here.
And tell me how you do it. You can't even calm this gathered crowd, and as for the police, they're not quite managing it either, are they? You consider yourself a problem solver, but until today, you've been solving problems sitting at your desk in a dark corner of a city hall room. Here, you need a more practical approach.
What are you driving at, Mr. Holmes?
Need to find my witness? I can help you.
I can help you to handle the situation if you're truly interested in solving things quickly and quietly.
And how exactly would you manage that?
Simply tell the police that I'm with City Hall and I'm permitted to investigate the scene. I'll work out the rest, but in return I need your help finding my witness. She's a young refugee. She's with child or was with child recently.
Look,
why?
There is indeed a dead body inside the camp. So even if the girl you are looking for is there, all the refugees are now being detained and interrogated by the police. They won't allow you to speak with her, and I can't do anything about that until the situation settles down.
So it's in our mutual interest to settle it.
Oh. I suppose that things are bad enough that I ought not shy away from help. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell the police to allow you to come inside. Just tell me when you're ready.
We're in.
Mr. Harlow, how did the refugees end up here exactly?
Oh. So you're not from around here yourself?
I've been away for some time, but I read the papers.
Yes, this whole story has been in the papers for almost a year now. They were smuggled to Cordona on a ship from Africa.
Smuggled? Then why didn't you deport them?
The smugglers managed to sneak them to shore and hide them inside an abandoned warehouse. When the police raided the warehouse and found the refugees there, the ship was already gone. We aren't even certain as to which ship it was. We have busy shipping routes with other colonies these days, you see.
So you decided to lock them up under a bridge?
There was no other option. We're still trying to work out what to do with them.
Okay.
I only hope we'll find a humane solution and not put them on a raft and float them out to sea.
Mr. Harlow, what exactly do you do here? What are your responsibilities?
What I do and what I am responsible for are two different realities, Mr. Holmes. On paper, I am in charge of the camp territory, security, provision, and the refugees in general. What I actually do most of the time is knock on every City Hall door trying to obtain some funding, or at least rations for the camp.
The police here on City Hall's behalf too?
They are, minus those who came here after the body was found. The governor won't let the refugees disperse into the island, so there's a significant police presence guarding the camp. Naturally, they answer directly to the police. I have some influence here, but I'm not their direct authority.
How you doing? Happy Wednesday.
I'm ready to take a look at the scene.
All right. Go inside the camp and find Inspector Tewkesbury. He's the officer investigating the scene. Tell him I sent you. Say you're an independent expert from City Hall. He'll fill in the details for you.
I'll find my way
I'm an
with words.
independent expert. I don't know. I'm trying to do a strong, independent woman thing. It's not working. Okay. Yeah. Let's wear something else. Maybe shave. Yes. Oh, we still have the tan too. No, we don't. Okay. No, we don't. Now we look
so they keep these
more
refugees under a
believable.
bridge like proverbial trolls. No wonder the people outside are so disturbed. We have seen some dark places in Cordona, but this...
Wow.
Who the hell are you? How did you get in here?
Mr. Ronald Harlow let me in, sir. I'm Sherlock Holmes, a surveyor of refugee affairs with City Hall. You're Inspector Tewkesbury, I presume?
A surveyor? What does that even mean?
In short, I've been sent to conduct an extensive report on the incident for the Colonial Office, and to assess all the damage inflicted on state property.
Got it. Another paperworm sent to count money and get food for archive mold. Go on, look around, but don't make yourself too at home. As if I didn't have enough problems before you appeared.
Could you first tell me what happened here?
What happened? People from the bridge above the camp heard a woman screaming and saw a mass of refugees attacking a man. Clearly not a refugee. When the camp guards came by, the man was floating in the sewage canal with a knife in his chest. Bam. A murder. Big news for Cordona.
I'm sure. Thank you, Inspector.
That was also like a murder just like down the street there. This game is really fun. Yeah.
Did you learn anything about the dead man?
The fellow looks like a thug.
I'm really enjoying
I've had
it.
dozens like him fished out of the sea over the past 20 years. Ever since these refugees arrived, there have been
Have you
people
played
on
it,
Cordona
Ruben?
with bad blood in them. My best bet is that this thug had something against them too.
And no clue as to his identity.
He had some items on his body, but nothing to indicate who he was or where he was from.
I think I should catalogue his possessions in my records.
Go on. They're on the table near the body.
And none of the refugees were harmed?
One fellow was cut. He's lying over there near their kitchen. He's in a bad way.
You mentioned a woman screaming who attracted the bypassers on the bridge. Was she harmed?
No, she's all right, but perhaps the whole debacle started because of her. She started wailing and the refugees stood up for the girl.
And where is this young woman now?
Back there in the shacks, same as the rest of the refugees. She's being questioned by my men, but she's just some refugee girl. Can't understand much English.
Would love to. Yeah, I would recommend this.
Do you have any suspects yet?
You're joking, right? I've got a whole camp full of suspects. And if you ask me, this bloke had it coming. Better bury him and forget about the whole thing. And now there's a crowd gathered at the camp, and my superiors say we must thoroughly interrogate the refugees. At least those who can understand any English.
Do you believe that your superiors wish to get rid of the refugees?
I think that both our superiors would rather keep the story quiet. Since that's an unaffordable luxury now, they're looking how to protect their public image. That's why I have to waste my time waiting for my people to turn every stone and befriend every refugee.
Excuse me. Like, I'm not actually that tired, but I'm yawning. Like, I've been more tired other days than today. Today I'm fine. So I'm not quite sure where this is coming from.
Here we go again. Number of hours on Cordona before stumbling upon another dead
Bedtime
body.
soon, but not yet.
0.
We could have a stroll around here. What do we got? Yeah, we could look at the body. Lying in the sewage canal. So I'm guessing here. Oh, there he is. There he is. Coal
dust
dust
under the nails. I don't see much coal around here.
Well, we know where there's coal. Was he limping by any chance? Sherry comes to town and suddenly there's 100 murders. Yeah, exactly. I just took it. Okay.
A steel dirk. Sharp. A common accessory among sailors and soldiers. I'd say the blade penetrated upward, however the wound is too messy to be certain.
Upward? So like, sort of stab. He has a neck tattoo. So this is our guy. This is our thief.
An interesting tattoo. Does it mean something?
This is 100% our art thief. What was he doing here? Well, they had the pictures of like the black woman. Is that a thing? No. Coal in his shoes?
Heavy boots, with one sole far more worn than the other. This man was limping, John.
Limping, yeah.
A violent
1000%.
This man, limping. Coal dust. I think we're onto something here, John.
Sherlock's soon getting there too, I think. The man was stabbed. As if the dirk was moved around while still in the chest cavity. Okay, yep. Coal footprints. Coal under that man's nails. We need to like connect the dots in here for him to come to the same conclusion that I have. The Thug also visited Vogel's gallery. Mercurius murder and the gallery thief are the same person. Yep. Okay, this was, I guess, deductible before we came here. And the visitor's intention might have been to locate the terrible photograph. Oh, we already got something. The thief was at Mercurio's flat to steal the photograph, but found Mercurio instead and killed him in self-defense. Yep. Cool.
You know, Sherry, it's dawned on me to not clown around with knives anymore.
Okay, so what can we see here? Oh, hey, there's some evidence number 2.
A simple leather sheath. Perfect for a dirk.
Uh-huh.
Malbo. Soaked with
whatever.
salt water. £1,000. A fair sum, especially considering British currency isn't very common in Cordona.
Was there any more evidence? Is there number 3 somewhere? I feel not, because he was pulled out of the water. So, wait, there is 5, 6? Where's 3 and... Wait, 8? That's 4. 9? Okay, let's go in order, because there's so many. 3?
A fresh crack, as if the crate was hit recently.
Trying to do math on his neck.
Someone bled profusely here.
So maybe the fight, or some sort of fight, happened here, and then he just ended up in the canal.
A furrow in the ground. A blood trail leading to or from the canal.
Well, maybe 2 if we go by the footprint. Okay, that was 4.
Oh, carnelian agate beads, a traditional African adornment.
5.
The blood sprayed off the blade after the strike.
Okay, so he was stroke here.
It might have been used as an improvised weapon.
There's no blood on it, though. Is there?
No hint of blood or impact.
6?
Someone
Barefoot.
was dragged against their will.
That was probably the woman would have been barefoot, right? I think I saw 8 and 9 this way.
Police boots.
Police?
Always happy to trample evidence.
Well, I don't know. I almost said hope so, but like, I don't know. I don't know which is worse, that the police was involved in here or that they just trampled evidence. Who knows? Oops.
A heavy boot with a worn-out sole.
I'm thinking this is the limper, the dead guy. Where do I need to look?
A man's footprint.
Oh, a man's. Well, then it wasn't the woman who was barefoot.
Clearly a left handprint here.
Is there more?
If they find out about the passage, everything will go to hell.
What? Find out what the passage is for. Hysteria. Jackson office, what does that mean? Take refugees out. Old sleuth. Public eye. Camp lockdown. Low salary. Money. Oh, I missed it. There's supposed to be a third.
If they find out about the passage...
What's Jackson office? Oh, money. Wait. Did I?
If they find out about
Was
the
that
passage,
correct?
everything will go to hell.
I don't remember what I chose last time. Take refugees out. Camp lockdown. I think public, yeah, it wasn't. Money was though. Okay, there we go. Police officers are worried that the situation with the dead body will put the camp into strict lockdown, and they will lose the money flow they were earning from their scheme.
Nobody
Wow.
will know anything if you keep your bloody mouth shut.
The coppers smell fishy here, Sherry. Perhaps, Sherry, just look at this. Living quarters in a sewer. What kind of a genius bureaucrat came up with this idea? We have seen some dark places in Cordona.
John suggests we could learn more about this matter by asking around the camp, but we should do this before we leave the camp for good. The place might be put into lockdown again. Wait, how did we find this out? The possessions, 1,000 British... Oh yeah, we saw that. Never mind.
This.
Can I talk to this one in charge here?
You still here?
The guards at the sewers were speaking about taking refugees out of the camp. Do you know anything about this, Inspector?
Less than you do, obviously.
And this doesn't bother you as an officer of the law?
I can neither punish them nor put them on the right track, if that's what you're asking. Maybe your friends at City Hall could do something about it, but I seriously doubt that. To be honest, I'm sick and tired of being frowned on for my uniform. If those fine gentlemen you've eavesdropped on are in some shady business, that's on their heads.
Can we ask around more?
Is this familiar to you?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
Do you know anything about this?
Nothing I can tell you, sir, but others might know more.
Time to check your who, what and what, Sherry. Who are you asking, about what, and dressed as what?
Do we need to change into police outfit? Let's do officer.
The refugees have been detained and will not leave until all the circumstances are clarified.
Back off.
Yeah, the music is so nice. Back off. Oh, here's the... Okay.
He is in shock, feverish, and dehydrated.
Wait, I thought it was a woman who was attacked.
The cut is deep, potentially serious if not treated immediately.
Sherry, you know first aid. Surely you have a duty to help this man. You can't leave him to certain death.
You know what? I'd like to understand.
What?
How did our dead man end up inside the camp in the first place?
Can we help this guy?
Help me, please.
Unfortunately, my casebook is empty on this.
Well, maybe we're fast enough. I don't know. I must concentrate on finding something to clean the wound, something to disinfect it, something to use as a bandage. Okay.
That will kill, not save him.
Okay, let's not use that. Oopsie.
It won't do any good.
Okay. I mean, from Resident Evil, we all know that herbs should be good. So it's gotta be some herbs.
I'll use it to create a solution.
I'm glad Sherlock knows which ones to use.
Just washed. Better than nothing to bandage the wound.
Okay, and what was the third one? Disinfect. Okay, so alcohol. I don't know if they have any. What can we use? I'm guessing it's gonna be also blue. There's something over there. Inkjet disinfectant. I'm not sure about that. Aloe vera.
I can use this to stop the infection from spreading.
Perfect.
I've collated all the ingredients, now to prepare the first aid solution.
Perfect. So do we need to... yeah. Chemistry stuff. 2 red, -6. What if we take this and flip it around? So now we've got the red down. -6 and 5. We could also get the... wait. Wait, that's new. Multiplies the value by 2. Awesome. Okay. So if we increment this with 1. Okay. And I guess we add these two together. We have 2 - 2, 5. We just need -4. Greens. We can use that. If we flip this around and then we increment, like double it. Haha. Okay. And now we just combine it. Nice. Those are getting easier the more like actions I get. Okay, let's go help them.
Thank you.
And
This should
he
make you feel
just
better, my
wakes
friend.
up,
Now
like,
remain lying down and drink as much water as you can.
I'm good.
Well done, Sherry. At least he won't die from the infection.
Yay! One person who did not die while I was here. How did the intruder get into the camp? What are the options? Okay. I mean, the river, I guess, obviously. Yeah.
It's unlikely anyone could get in or out of the camp by water without alerting the police guards.
Fair enough. Oh.
No, it's too short for these walls or cliffs. Sealed shut. I doubt our man could get through these grates.
What other options are there? I mean, there's the way that we came from, I guess. Like maybe something here. But I guess that's not like not really an option. Couldn't have come unnoticed, I guess. What else? I do want to kind of play until I'm somewhere where I finished something, like at least one bit of this, because I won't be able to play in over a week. So I need to have a point where I have an idea of how to proceed. What am I not seeing? Wait. Why is he a yellow dot?
I'm busy. Don't you have papers to fill? City Hall lubberheads.
Oh, I guess they're all yellow. What are these doors? Wow, that guy's been smoking so much. What the heck? Oh my god. That's not a good... Wait, hold on a second. They're not actually there. Malpal.
A single Malpal butt.
The rest aren't.
Roadman cigarettes. A brand highly regarded by law enforcement officers. So there wasn't any sophisticated infiltration plan. The good old police just let the man into the camp. Now we have everything we need to get the full picture of what happened at the camp.
Wow. They just let him in. Okay. Classic. Okay, what was going on? People are running. Okay, this is a really big one. Okay, someone was getting dragged here. But Sherlock said like male barefoot steps. But maybe not all of them were, I guess. Yeah, they definitely got dragged here. Then here was the hit, the bonk. Yeah, maybe. Oh, this guy tried to intervene. Okay, that would make sense. I wasn't quite sure what was his what was his part in all this? Wait, what's the difference? Oh, the woman is like struggling. Yeah, probably that way. Oh, and then she falls and loses her beads. Yeah. Then here there was some, I think these were the guy's footsteps. Yeah, okay. Oh, Did we find the knife here? No, we didn't. It was on the body. What happened to the woman? Did she just like, she was just left there? And there were his footsteps and his bare footsteps, I guess. Well, we'll see. Maybe then, like, I do think that he still might have had the knife. What happened here? Okay, he trips. Oh, is he gonna stab himself? Look at that. He's like going to land on the knife. Yeah, I think as the people were defending themselves and the woman, I think he sort of kind of accidentally killed himself. No, the footprint doesn't show that. I think he just fell in there. Yeah. Like that. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. Let's see.
So
First
we
try
have a thug
again.
who came to take a refugee woman with him. She resisted, but he dragged her by force. One of the refugees stood in his way, armed with a stick, yet he could do nothing against a cutthroat with a blade. The man didn't anticipate that the other refugees would intervene and stand against him. In the confusion, the woman managed to break free. The thug took fright and fled. He was stopped by the falling crates. He stumbled and fell, piercing his chest with his own blade. However, the wound didn't cause instant death. He managed to stand, but still bleeding, he lost his balance on the bridge and fell. Before all of this, the man had freely entered the camp through the main entrance. The police admitted him after they had a short smoke together.
You live by the sword.
Kind of
you
like
die by
us.
the sword. In our man's case,
We
it's the
talked
same
ourselves
sword.
in. Alright. So, case closed.
You still here?
Inspector, I believe I can aid your investigation. I know who the dead man is and what really happened here.
You do? Well, good for you. But I'm afraid I'm not the one you need to share your findings with. Speak to Mr. Harlow here. He's the one responsible for settling things in the camp.
You don't even care to listen?
Oh, I do care. And maybe even more than I need to. But I'm only here today to lock the place up, question witnesses, and file the facts. It's sad, but coming up with conclusions is not among my tasks here. You fellows at City Hall do that. Anyway, speak to the supervisor. I'll just stand by and listen to what you have to say.
Mr. Harlow, your refugees didn't murder anyone.
What? Pray tell me what you've learned.
All right, listen carefully. This might solve one problem for you, but will create a few more.
Oh, well, that's a great start.
The man came to the camp intending to kidnap one of your refugees, a woman. What he didn't expect was that the refugees would stand up to protect the woman. A brawl had broken out. In the chaos of it, the man stumbled over those crates and fell on his own blade.
How do you know he fell on his own blade?
The wound in his chest was inflicted from an unusual angle. It was not an offensive stab, shall we say.
Yeah, you would stab someone like...
The refugees didn't
not
touch
like,
him. And judging by the blood at the scene, the intruder managed to raise himself but was unable to walk very far. He ultimately fell into the canal.
But how did he sneak into the camp? Why didn't the police see him?
They did.
And this is where your new problems emerge, Mr. Harlow.
What do you mean?
You're not a dull-witted man. You know what I mean. There is no feasible way to get into the camp without the police guards knowing of it.
The pile of mess I had to sort out has just become bigger, but somehow that doesn't surprise me. Anyway, I thank you for your help, Mr. Holmes. I'll take it from here. Meanwhile, I'll make sure the police aren't detaining the refugees any longer. You can go back in and look for your witness.
You think one small clerk can make any difference in this place?
Who knows, John?
Look for a
Just one
witness.
ill-fitting cog could make the whole machine crumble.
So... what is our next action? The refugees in the camp are no longer detained by the police. Now I can find the girl. Okay, let's see if we can conclude this refugee camp investigation today. That would be awesome.
May I ask for your assistance?
Sorry, we don't see much here.
How about you? Was she your friend?
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Sorry. We don't see much here.
Oh, I am bored. Call me when you find the answer.
Excuse me. Should I, like, does it matter what I'm wearing?
Can I ask you a question?
Sorry. We don't see much here.
What about you? No?
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Sorry. We don't see much here.
This isn't working. You might need a different tack.
There's like this that we need. Like, am I pinning the wrong thing? Like, I don't know who of them is the witness. Like, it could be... Seems like many of them were somehow involved.
You're the one who tended to our man's wounds.
Okay.
I thank you greatly. The police didn't allow us to help him.
The police will leave you alone now. I've proven to them that the man who came into the camp died due to his own foolishness.
Thank you for standing up for us. But nobody would help us without a reason. You're here because you want something.
Yes, I do. I need to speak with the girl drawn here.
The dead man came for her too. He wanted to take the girl away, but we won't allow her to be hurt again. What do you want from Nayla?
Nayla. She was hurt some time ago. I'm here to find the people who did this and bring them to justice. And to find them, I need Nayla's help. Will you let me speak to her?
Justice. There's no justice on this land. But you helped us, so maybe your words are not empty. You can speak to Nayla, if she wants it. But I will be watching you.
Sure. No problem.
Hello, Nayla? My name is Sherlock. I know someone hurt you. I am here to help. I'm trying to find the people involved and bring them to justice. Please.
Oh, that's her. She has the
There is a
scar.
photograph, and I'm sorry. It is terrible, but I simply must ask. Where did this happen? What can you tell me about these people? Christ, Sherlock. Nayla, I'm sorry. I'm not very good at this.
I understand being socially
Come here for
awkward.
me. But you are rude and cruel and condescending. A cross. The man had this cross. Now go away. Leave us be. I do not need another white man's help.
Oh, glad that wasn't me.
Not my best work, John, by a long shot. Nayla doesn't want us meddling. I'm starting to wonder what this all achieves.
But she helped you anyway. Now we know that maniac's face and the cross he wore, we can still catch him.
Okay, I want to see. This man did not come here by chance. He's a very important thread in this case, and this tattoo might help me pull it.
At least some of your kind have a hat. Thank you again.
I wonder who we need to talk to. Like, that speech bubble means that we need to talk to a certain someone, not just anyone.
You still here?
Maybe I don't need to provide evidence.
I'll just look
to
around and
this
do my paperwork. You won't
guy.
even notice me.
I wish.
Because he didn't seem
I
interested.
owe you a lot, Mr. Holmes.
No, he's the only one
You
I
still
can
here?
prove evidence to.
The intruder has a most peculiar tattoo on his neck, 2 lines and a point. Do you know anything about it?
You really want to know, kid? Why? You want to play a policeman or something?
I'm sure you have it in your records, so it won't hurt if I have it in mine.
In my records, it's just a tattoo, as it should be in yours. Ah, to hell with you. Suit yourself as to what you're going to do with it. Off the record, though, such tattoos are often connected to a man named Mr. Niccolo Bernadotti.
There we go.
Bernadotti, you say?
Why
A
off the record?
respectable businessman in Scaladio. His company imports goods and wines, and smuggles everything that can be smuggled between the colonies and the mainland. His people can be identified by an obscure tattoo, just like the one over there our friend has. But these are all merely rumors, you see. If Mr. Bernadotti was a criminal, he'd be in prison now. Or hanged, right?
Right. The Inspector Dewsbury at the refugee camp says that the men tied to a certain Niccolo Bernadotti possess tattoos such as this one. It's a local businessman from Scaladio who is rumored to run a smuggling chain. We're gonna have to find something out. About this guy.
Sherry, wait. You might want to settle all the matters in the camp before leaving.
Oh, we're not done?
Probably won't be coming back here anytime soon.
Well, then that must mean that there's still something. Ask more around the camp. Okay, I'll try. Who knows?
Could you help me? A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
Is this familiar to you?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
This isn't working. You might need a different tack.
Should I be wearing the police outfit right now? Hi.
Help me, please.
Unfortunately, my casebook is empty on this.
Come on, you guys were talking about...
May I ask for your assistance?
Oh, I don't know about that. Ask one of the others.
This isn't working. You might need a different tack.
Are there any more police around?
Excuse me, just one question.
They often take us from the camp to work. Most don't mind, though. It's the only way to get a glimpse of freedom.
Gossip! Yes! According to the refugees, some shady people regularly visit the camp and take refugees away with them to perform various work. The work is usually hard, but the refugees receive money and food. The girl was abused after she was supposedly taken to such work. Since then, the refugees decided not to allow their women to be taken.
So there's a smuggling ring in the camp. This wasn't the first time that someone freely entered the camp to take a refugee out.
Wow.
At least it was certainly his last time. My gut tells me that we'll learn more about this ring when we find out where the thug came from.
Yeah. Alright, I think now that should be... Oops. Not the hat. Leave the hat. We should have everything, right? Okay, so next time we're gonna have to go... find out about Bernadotte. I wonder if that would be in the news or in the city hall. No, it's probably at the police station, right? If he's like at least sort of a known criminal, but they haven't been able to catch that guy yet. I think that's it. I think we have clear enough of a plan so we can continue next time. Oh.